the songs, or something else entirely? From vaudeville to vinyl, you'll hear it all on Soundbeat. Soundbeat is produced at the Belfer Audio Archive, Syracuse University Libraries.
Tune in for Philosophy Talk, the program that questions everything
Except you're intelligent.
Coming up, Foucault and power.
Power can be used for positive social ends.
That's good.
But it can also be used for control.
That's bad.
But resistance is always possible.
That's good.
But resistance is also part of power.
Oh, come on.
Foucault and power, next time on Philosophy Talk.
Listen to Philosophy Talk today at noon on KSJE 90.9 FM, Farmington. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, your community hospital with a rich heritage that dates back to before New Mexico was a state. We've been improving the health of the Four Corners since 1910. As a nonprofit hospital, San Juan Regional Medical Center is a values-driven organization. We strive to deliver on our mission to personalize health care and create vitality and enthusiasm in healing. We are here for you when you need us, offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and emergency care services. 11 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday morning, December the 4th. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin, and thank you for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM and 90.9 HD. Special good morning to our viewers who are watching us live this morning on the KSJE Facebook page and YouTube channel. Coming up in just a moment, my guest this morning, Ken Collins, is here from Ken Collins Marketing. We will be talking all about marketing and how to get your message out to the community. It is changing, I think, by the minute. So we'll check with Ken and see what the latest trends are and what his advice might be if you have a message to get out to the public. Marketing is our topic this morning here on KSJE. Later on this hour, as we do every Tuesday, we will stop by the Farmington Regional Animal Shelter, find out about some of the pets available for adoption this week. That's coming up this morning about 8:50. You'll see those animals also on our visual radio programming here on Facebook and YouTube. 9 a.m., Mick Hess will take over the radio station, and he is playing music from this album that you're seeing on the screen, a Renaissance Christmas holiday music on Roving with the Arts today at 9 a.m. here on KSJE. And, of course, you can always check out our programming schedule by going to our website at ksje.com. It's also where you'll find our regional events calendar and some of the events that are coming up that we want to remind you about, including a special Astro Friday program again this Friday on December 7th, the Star of Bethlehem, the Christmas Carol still performing on stage at the San Juan College Little Theater. There's an African drumming concert at the San Juan College Little Theater on December the 14th. Tonight in Durango, the Michael Martin Murphey Cowboy Christmas Show at the Henry Strader Theater, and the Evening of Lights at the Aztec Ruins happening on December 7th this week. Just some of the many events you will find on our regional events calendar. Just go to ksje.com. Well, now let me welcome my guest who is here in the studio with me this morning, none other than Ken Collins from Ken Collins Marketing. Good morning.
Morning.
Good to have you here.
Finally.
I know, right? How are you?
Good.
Good. Good to see you.
I was supposed to be here another day. And
you were, but that's okay. We got you, but that's okay. My people called your people, and we got you here. So, I'm glad you made it out. That's true. But as I mentioned, marketing, it seems like it is changing by the minute of how you get your message out. Back in the old days, you put an ad in the paper and you were good. Or you put it on the radio or on TV if you had enough money, and that's all you needed to know. And today, it's totally different.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. In fact, I've been sitting here for 10, 15 minutes, a little more than that. So I'm completely out of touch. I have no idea what's going on.
What is going on? That's right. It's changed already in the last 10 minutes.
Changed.
Good grief. I know. And we also want to invite folks, if folks do have a question, they can write it on our Facebook live stream. We will see it here in the studio, and you can check that out and add a comment or say hello and tell us that you're watching us this morning on our Facebook stream. If you do want to give us a call, we do have phone lines that are open here at 505-566-3909. 3909 is the number, and you can give us a call with a question about marketing. But I bet you get asked a lot from folks of how to get my message out, or I'm having this event, or I had this event and nobody showed up, and what did I do wrong? All that stuff. Right?
Yeah, on something like that, if you're having an event, Facebook. Put it on Facebook and advertise it.
Right? Okay.
There it is.
All right.
Yeah.
But what else? What else can we be doing at, in addition to Facebook? I mean, here we are at a radio station. Is radio dead, Ken? And be nice. Be polite.
Radio is not dead.
Okay.
Radio is changing, just like everything else is changing as well. So radio is going digital. And here we are, streaming, live on Facebook and YouTube, and it's being posted everywhere. So it's not just going out on the radio waves; it's digital. So radio is changing, and that's what's going on, and it's becoming actually more engaging for people, just like you're doing here. So, So instead of having to take a break from whatever you're doing and pick up the phone and call somebody, and you have one person at a time on the line, you can have multiple people engaging with you on a digital stream, true. On social media while you're live, and you can engage with them back. So I think that's where radio's going.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad that we're already there. So
you're there.
I'm glad about that. But what about the other stations? Are they moving in that direction too, or is this? I mean, I know it's expensive, and I know it's hard to change, especially if you've been doing it that way for 60, 70 years.
Right.
In some of these stations' ideas, right?
Right. Some of the other ones, so smaller local stations, it is more difficult for them. So for larger stations under bigger umbrellas, they're already digital, and they have apps that you can put on your phone, and things like that. So you can actually get all those stations on your phone, just streaming through there. So that's a digital form. And then satellite radio, that's digital. And so cars are becoming equipped with that, and people they've stopped listening to local radio stations because of that.
Don't get me started.
Now, the thing with this area, though, is we lag. Typically, we just lag here. So local radio is still being listened to in this area.
And I think that's because, if you're out in the oil field or whatever, you don't have Wi-Fi maybe that you can rely on, or cell phone towers or things like that to stream what you normally would maybe do at home. And so over-the-air terrestrial, old-fashioned, good old AM/FM radio is where it's at. For some of these folks, unless they have an iPod or something else to listen to while they're out there, right?
And I don't have satellite. I don't have satellite radio in my
satellite. That's
truck,
a good point. Right? Yeah.
So I don't have that. So I listen over the airways. I'm a strange mix of a guy, right? So I remember 8-track tapes and albums and vinyl, and when the VCR was invented and microwaves were invented, but I also embrace all this new stuff typically before everybody else does.
Right. True. And so here we are. And so for folks who are trying to, again, market their business, and again, satellite radio can't give you local. That's the one thing that you cannot do, at least in this community yet. And some TV does a little local, but not a lot of local. And so there's still some niche for the local media, I suppose, right?
Definitely.
To help with messaging and marketing.
Yeah, I think people are actually missing that, and I think actually we're moving into a world where that's being figured out now with things like this. Right. So
only took me 10 years to figure this out. But better late than never, audience.
Right. Yeah. So as people begin to lose touch because they picked these things up,
the cell phone,
and started doing things with that, they started not paying attention to literally everything else.
Right.
And so they didn't realize that's what they were doing, and became kind of lost.
Right.
I'm not getting all the stuff that I used to get in my local market. Now I know about everything that's going on all over the world, and I feel stressed out about it. But what's going on in my own town, and I think we're moving into where those things are being figured out. Radio stations are streaming on Facebook. Newspapers are posting stories on Facebook. Just that's what everything is doing now, and people are beginning to figure that out, and it's becoming more organized and I think we're going to bring people back around to their local markets and the things that service those local niches.
It's getting there. I think you're right. And I want to give a shout out to Lance, who's watching us on video this morning. So Lance, thank you for saying hello and saying good morning. If you're watching, give us a shout out, say hello, or ask a question if you have a question. I guess the other idea, though, Ken Collins, is that how do you pay for that, right? Because I think that's what newspapers are having a hard time figuring out is, they've had subscriptions for their print product for years and years and years, and then we got the internet, and everyone is used to getting information for free and streaming for free on the internet, but you got to pay for it somehow.
That's exactly right. So you have to figure out your product and your model and whatnot. You're in a little bit of a different situation here, but somebody that's dependent on ad revenue, you have to figure out what that online model is. Then. Right.
But we're dependent on our listeners. We are a listener-supported station, everybody. And so, again, it's those listeners that are helping to support what we're doing.
Right.
And you still got to pay the bills. I mean, that's like any kind of media. Exactly. It's not going to last long if the bills aren't getting paid. And it's going to go away.
Exactly.
And that's what is happening across the country. And so we're in this state of flux with media right now, obviously, as we've been talking about. And that affects marketing. I would assume, right, of how people are using media to get information, and that affects how people are using marketing or getting marketing messages.
Yeah. The way people are using media is with their phones.
Right. It's all mobile.
Literally, that's the thing. That's the only thing growing. Everything else is slowly fading away. Some things are taking longer. So print is pretty much gone. We can just forget about print. That's not a great medium at all.
Right. Aw.
I feel bad.
It's very nostalgic for a lot of people. But you mean the actual paper product, right? Because the actual print institution of having reporters and journalism and that is not going away, because that is just moving online
to a digital model.
Right.
Yeah. So we definitely need that, and I think we need more of it. I think we've gotten kind of wonky with that in the kind of strange world that we live in, and things just too fast paced. So I think you and I talked about that a little bit on my own show a while back. But now it's all about content creation. So that's what kind of local reporters have turned into, is content creators.
True.
They need to just constantly put out content instead of really digging in and grabbing a story. So I wish they would get back to that, but that content creation is happening online, and that's why they're doing that, and they're being instructed to do that. To keep that model rolling, and it's what they should be doing.
Right. And I'm amazed that there's not really a deadline anymore when you're talking about journalism. It's just always whenever you get information, you can publish it or post it or share it. And so it's not like you have to get that story in time for the 6 o'clock news, because we can share it immediately on our social media pages or website or what have you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's changing all the time.
Yeah.
You mentioned your other show, the other show, and I want to talk a little bit about that, because people may know you, hopefully they do, from your Ken Drives series that is on a bit of a break right now, right? You're taking a break over the winter.
Right.
You'll be back in the spring.
Yeah, I have two. So I have a regular Ken Drives kind of a vlog. Right?
Okay.
So it's just a short 2 to 3 minute advice videos. While I'm driving around. So it's Ken Drives, and I give marketing advice and other goofy, silly, fun things.
Sure.
And so but then there's also Ken's Think Tank, which is a talk show that also happens in the truck. You were my first guest.
The first one. That's right.
On the show. Yeah.
Gosh.
So now it's Think Tank, Ken's Think Tank, but I run them both on a season. So both of them are February through October. So season 2 is wrapped up, and we're looking forward to season 3.
Season 3 coming up. Very exciting. But that is, again, something new, and you've gotten a lot of, I think, views and shares on producing those.
Yes. In fact, for business owners, pay attention to that kind of model. About 90% of my new business comes from doing that content, from doing those videos.
Interesting.
So and I'm not selling in them.
Right.
I'm just branding.
Right.
I'm letting people know who I am and I exist and what I know.
And what you know, exactly. And so you again, the concept, if folks haven't seen them, is that you drive around with a guest and you're interviewing them while you're driving, and it's kind of almost like this is your life, because at least it was for me, because you're driving near like the college, and you asked me about the college, and you drove me around the TV station. We talked about the TV station and things like that, and that's kind of what you tend to do.
Yeah.
But I will say that your studio gets better mileage than my studio. I must have to say that.
That's only because yours doesn't move.
It's not moving. That's true.
I don't get all that great mileage.
That's true. Here's a question from Lance, who's watching on social media. Is social media growing into the largest audience? He still listens to the radio frequently, he says.
Growing into. So
it's all morphing, right? It's all part of it, isn't it?
Facebook is the largest audience.
It is.
Of
the socials.
I don't want to say anything. Mobile's the largest audience.
Okay.
So eyeballs in front of a mobile device, they're the largest audience of anything. TV, when you start breaking it down to just things like just one thing like Facebook, Facebook is the largest social media thing.
Right.
There's a lot of talk about Twitter because Twitter's a whole different animal, and we don't really use it here in Farmington. But it is massively smaller than Facebook.
Right. The numbers.
Massively.
Yeah.
So I think Facebook's probably larger than all the other social media things combined.
I'll probably go along with that too.
Probably not including things like Instagram, which Facebook owns. So outside of their own properties,
sure,
it's pretty large. So social media is huge. You can't deny it. It's everywhere that you look. It's on every TV show that's being recorded now.
Right.
It's on shows. It's on commercials. It's on drive-through windows when you go and get something to eat.
True.
It's literally everywhere. You can't get away from social media.
It's interesting, but it also kind of muddies the water a little bit, right? Because we can say that Facebook's a huge audience, but then the KSJE, for example, presence on Facebook is part of that.
Right.
And other media, traditional media presence on Facebook and social media kind of interprets that as well, right? They get the benefits of that platform, I suppose.
Right. So just like any other kind of audience, right? So the back in the old days, the radio listening audience was pretty huge, but for one particular station, it would be a lot smaller than the larger radio.
All radio, that's right.
So what happens is it's just a pool of people. It's just like anything else. The rules haven't changed, just the platforms.
Right.
So when you're looking for where the people are, that's where they are.
Okay, gotcha. But when I'm trying to send my message out, if I want to boost a post, or if I want to make an ad and put it on Facebook and try to get in front of those people, are people still reacting to those posts, or are they becoming so savvy and sophisticated that they kind of scroll by them because they're looking for grandbaby pictures or kitten pictures or whatever it is?
Right. You're still going to deal with a metric, right? Mm-hmm. There'll be an audience, and there'll be a certain portion of that audience that responds to the message, and so there's still that metric, but if you target it properly and in the right way, then you can do that. And on social media, you definitely don't want to be salesy. You don't want to look like you're trying to sell something. You don't want to look like you're trying to promote something. You want to look like you want people to be involved in something. That's really what that is about. So be casual in your content creation and involve people, and that's how you move your message.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And for you, and give us a little bit of background. You've been doing marketing now forever. Okay. Since the dawn of time. How many years would you say?
Oh man, let's see, on and off in different aspects. It used to be traditional PR. I would actually organize press conferences. Remember those?
Back in the old days. That's right. You get a room full of reporters when we used to have a room full of reporters that you could gather for a press conference.
Now
you
just
get
want an email.
One guy and a phone. That's all you get.
That's right. So that sort of thing since probably about 91, 92, somewhere in there. So on and off different types of things, and then probably in the last 20 years. Actually, it's been 20.
Wow.
20, no. It's been it's getting close. It's getting close. 15 years.
Okay.
Since probably about I don't know. Everything has gone digital.
Sure.
And for myself.
Right.
So I was looking, still doing all of that traditional stuff, and started really testing and working with all the digital things, and noticed that my return on my investment, my cost per sale. So when I would actually get a sale, how much money did it take me? Did I have to spend in advertising and promotion, all that kind of thing, to get that sale was seriously low. It was incredibly low. I was working at the city at the time. It was $2 per sale.
Okay.
So if I couldn't find another opportunity that would offer me a $2 per sale price point, then I wouldn't do it, which meant I cut out literally everybody.
Right. Because you were able to do that on your own through the social media, the digital platforms, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of business owners, I would imagine, that is a constant struggle. These folks who maybe don't have the time that you had to check this out and to investigate, right? So they're trying to figure out how to get their messages out affordably.
You know, the biggest thing that people could do, which I still see people struggle with and don't have exactly right, and some people just don't have it at all. One, you have to have a website. You just have to. There's no just. People shouldn't question that anymore. You have to have a website.
Yeah.
And then, number two is a Google My Business listing. It's totally free, totally easy. Just set it up, and that one thing will do so much for your business.
Interesting. Because why? Because when people search, it'll pop up? Is that what you're saying?
Definitely. So when they're searching for products, services, or your business in particular, they're searching for it. And your website may or may not pull up, but if you have a Google My Business listing, it will definitely pull up, and it will be at the top of the search results, regardless of what you're doing with search engine optimization, which is a whole other conversation.
That is a whole other conversation. That is true. But we've heard about it, and so that's something that we maybe can touch on in the next segment. So I think it's a good time for a break.
Absolutely, yeah.
Ken Collins is my guest this morning, everybody. Ken Collins Marketing. We were talking about marketing, PR, all those different things. If you have a question, we invite you to join the conversation. You can ask on our Facebook live stream this morning. You can give us a call at 505-566-390.9. Give us a call at 566-3909 here at KSJE. Taking a short break. Back with more in just a moment. The time right now is 8:31.
You can't be a creator without a camera. How one startup is targeting influencers. From America.